Yeah, like I wouldn't. I mean, from the kids that I know, I can tell you that they, like the ones that I still keep in touch, like they didn't get trafficked. But then it's like there's so many kids, babe. Like I'm pretty sure, sadly, like a percentage of them were getting trafficked.
What? What do you mean?
Like, how do you think, like, there's so many kids coming here? You think that a couple of them wouldn't go on the radar and be like, oh, these kids are actually gonna be trafficked?
What? Okay. So you think they're being sent over here to the U.S. with a purpose behind it? Like, okay, so kind of like a plan, right?
Yes.
So you send them out to the U.S. from Central America. They land here, but now the point of contact is part of that kind of.
Yeah, like I wouldn't doubt that. I'm not saying all of them. Maybe like there's maybe more than half of them. Like let's say 75% actually like stay with the family member and, you know, like their life goes on.
Right.
But then a certain percentage, it's like maybe they're not that lucky and they unfortunately end up with that uncle, tia, or whatever you want to call it that actually does traffic them.
Or you think the people that are sending them, it's already planned out?
Oh yeah, like when they were for example, when they would pay to like come from Central America to over here, like they already had a plan. Like, do you think they wouldn't have the plan like, oh, this kid eventually is gonna get trafficked once they get to the States?
Oh man. So I hadn't even thought about that, right? Because remember when you first worked there, I was like, hey, is everything legit there? Like, what's the whole goal of them being there? Like, are they really going to their families? And I got a peace of mind when you're like, yeah, they're going to their families. And like you said, you keep in touch with some of the kids that were there. But now you're giving me another perspective of like, yeah, there's some kids that possibly could be going through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad, man. Man, that's heartbreaking.
Yes.
But you personally don't know for a fact, right? This is all allegedly.
Yes.
Because of stories that you heard, like this girl that just mentioned, or this.
Yeah, exactly. This comment that just replied on the post.
Wow.
But I mean, just like her, dude, there's so many people working there. Like everybody must have stories, or they must have heard from somebody. Like I remember when I was there, at one point, because okay, so we would work in the pots, right?
Yeah.
But all of us, we had like a supervisor, like a pot supervisor, and then there was like the supervisor. But there was people that were case managers, and the case managers, those were the people that were in charge of looking for like your tias, or whoever you kept saying that you were gonna go to.
Yeah.
And those, I mean, I bet those people have other stories because they are more in touch. They're the ones that are in touch with the family, and they're the ones in charge of like investigating and like, you know, saying that you're actually going to a legit person, not a freaking trafficker.
But what gets you thinking that those people are also could be part of it, right? Mm-hmm. To approve that, okay, they sign off on it and you're good to go, and then they get some cash. Everything here is just allegedly. We're just, you know, it's all conspiracies that we're just mentioning, right?
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. But when I was in there, I remember one of my coworkers and we got asked if we eventually wanted to move to like being a case manager. But I needed like, because either you needed a bachelor's or you needed like a certain amount of school units. And I didn't qualify because I didn't have enough of the school units, and I don't have a bachelor's. But I feel like that would have been another experience. Like for me to move from working in the pod to becoming a case manager, I think that would have been a good experience to see like the other side of what it is like dealing with the family members of these kids that are over here.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you saw this one, right? But it says, I worked at the, I'm not sure if it's the same one. I worked at the Pomona Fairplex in the COVID unit, then moved to the boys unit. It's true that kids were trafficked. Was that the same one, or it's
no? Pomona is up north.
Okay.
Pomona is the one that got open after the convention center here in San Diego got closed.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another comment that I'm looking at this. I think they're looking at this as a different perspective, right? So it says all the kids get adopted by Americans, and all those Americans get food stamps and cash aid. There goes her tax money, and that is why we have homeless, because they can't afford a home, or most choose. let me read the last sentence. So all the kids get adopted by Americans, and all those Americans get food stamps and cash aid. There goes our tax money, and that is why we have homeless, because they can't afford a home, or most choose. Let me see. Most choose what?
Like most choose to be homeless?
I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I guess they're saying like, okay, because of these kids that are being sent from Central America, pretty much saying that they're using our tax money.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like, I mean, there's going to be case to case, right? But a lot of the homeless, unfortunately, I guess you can say it's by choice, because they're dealing with certain issues, mental issues, and they're using certain substances, that keeps them out there. But I mean, I guess the help is out there, but that was another perspective. They're not even looking or thinking about the farewell of the kids. They're looking at it like, oh, like
somebody's making money off from them.
Yeah, that
someone's getting a benefit because that kid is coming over here.
Yeah.
But then, even if they did get a benefit, if the kid is 16, dude, like, and they get food stamps, they're just gonna be able to get food stamps for until they turn 18. It's not like if it's a newborn, then they can get food stamps for like 18 years. That's different.
Yeah, but then there's also kids that are like you said, like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess for those kids, they're gonna be getting that aid for a couple years. So, yeah. And anything else that stuck up?
Let me keep seeing.
I think.
Hold on. There was another comment. Hold on, let me scroll down. Somebody was like 50 times 26 equals 1,300. So those are the immigrant kids they lost in the system years ago. But I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, but okay. So if it is 1,300, that's just here in San Diego.
Yes, because there's many of those places all over probably in each state.
That's crazy. That's a whole bunch of kids.
Yep. So imagine there's one, or maybe there's 2 of these places in each state along the border. How many would that be? So 1,300 times 2, 2,600 times, I don't know how many states are near the border, like 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're talking about like more than 10,000 kids.
What the heck?
That are just from those countries.
And then you said you would figure that doesn't take a whole year for them to get processed, right?
I mean, some of them, it just depends, babe, because some of them, they would get here from, because most of the kids that we got, they came from Texas. They didn't turn themselves here.
Yeah.
So they would come from Texas, and for example, somebody that was here, like they could have just moved today, like they could have arrived today, and they would be out within 2 weeks. But then we had kids that were there for months and they were still here.
Oh, okay.
So it just depends because everybody's case is different.
Yeah. Okay. So damn, that's crazy when you put it in that perspective. 1,300 in just in one location times, you said how many states?
Let's say there's, what is it? California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, 4 states.
Okay.
So 2,600. Let's say there's 2 per state.
Oh, okay. Oh,
that's more than 10,000 kids.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,300 here. Let's try to make a quick math. 1,300 times 2 per state.
Yeah.
Times how many states?
Let's say 4 states
that states. Yeah.
Are in the border.
10,400.
Yeah. Crazy. And I saw another comment that said that it was like this lady saying that her daughter worked in the similar thing, but she worked in Florida. So it's not just like here along the border. They can be like all over the place.
Wow. And you hardly ever hear of these things. Like
somebody said, how did you get hired? This thing, like, it was almost like a secret thing to get hired.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Like there wasn't an ad out there that was like, oh, like you guys want to work in the convention center? No.
So how'd you hire?
I found out because my friend Fernanda, she found out because of her sister. Like her sister, she's in I know she majored in criminal justice too, but I don't know exactly what she does. And somebody was like, hey, like, do you know somebody that wants to work at the convention center? Like they need to pass a background check, and this is what they're gonna do. So then her sister told my friend, and my friend got a hold of me. She's like, hey, let's go to work to the convention center. Like, we're going to make this much and this is what we're going to do. So we went to apply and like right away we got hired. But it wasn't like, oh, like it's not like you're gonna see it on Craigslist or anything. Like they're not gonna be posting it out there.
So it's more of a like word of mouth.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? There was one, but I think this one is it wasn't on Instagram, and I didn't even put a mind to it. But let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe it's not.
What was it? What did they say?
Unless they deleted it, but
what did it say?
It said, let me see. Huh. Can't find it, but it was something like girly pop. You shouldn't be talking about this. You're not supposed. I worked in one of those things too, but you're not supposed to talk about it.
They were not supposed to talk about it when we were working there, not anymore.
Yeah, I did check in with you to make sure that you could talk about this. But I could have sworn it was unless they got removed or she decided to remove it. But yeah, she said something like girly pop. You should like kind of like sarcastic. Like girly pop, like she was being like kind of sarcastic. You know what I mean?
Oi Nomas podcast. Clips for full podcast link can be found on description below.